McDavid is at BioSteel Camp in Toronto this week, but will not be on the ice as his recovery continues. He discussed his rehab in Toronto earlier today.
Progressing well, making progress every day.
Were there any setbacks at any point?
Nope.
How have you handled the rehab mentally? How's the summer been different for you?
It's been different. Obviously, just focusing on that. It's taken a lot of time, but it's been good.
When did you get back on the ice, or have you been back on the ice?
I got back on the ice a couple months ago.
What's your timeline, do you know, for your recovery?
Like I said, we're just working towards getting to camp here.
Is there any concern you might not be ready to go on the ice for camp?
Like I said, we're just working hard to get to camp, and we're focused on that.
So it doesn't sound good because he doesn't say, no, we'll be good.
Correct.
Right.
McDavid also weighed in on the stagnant RFA market.
He also said no setbacks.
He said no setbacks, but he also didn't say things are awesome, right?
You wanted an everything is awesome?
I wanted everything is awesome.
Okay.
He also talked about the RFA market and how interesting that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously a unique situation where there's a lot of star players that are sitting out right now. So I think it'll just take one domino to fall, and then they'll all fall pretty quick. But someone's going to have to set that mark. And like I said, there's lots of good players there.
Why was it important for you to get yours done so far in advance of the deadline?
Because I didn't want to be sitting here and not going to training camp. Yeah. So that was my biggest fear, honestly. I didn't want to be in that situation.
All right. Some people say it was really interesting today. Others are saying, you're overdoing it. You didn't say that much. Let's dissect. Brian Burke, Sportsnet hockey analyst, joining us in the studio. How you doing, sir?
Good, guys. How are you?
Very good. Bruce Springsteen.
One of the greatest musicians ever.
I'm glad you said that. I agree with him 1,000%. I brought this up earlier, Brian, I'm telling you, and McAuliffe was like, no, they suck, and he sucks, it's not a they. And I'm like, no, he's great.
Okay, let's just, we'll pull the curtain back I won't say what you said, but you said Springsteen's overrated, and then the rest I can't repeat on TV when you walked in the studio, because Sixero sometimes says
I'll
things
clean it up. I'll clean it up.
But then he comes and sits beside you, and oh yeah, different tune, eh?
I'm not inching away or anything. I'm not inching away. Favorite band of all time?
My favorite band of all time? Well, probably the Stones.
It is the Stones.
Yeah.
Do you mind repeating the story you told when you walked in?
1975. I got to work security at a Rolling Stones concert in St. Paul, Minnesota. And they hired the University of Minnesota football team to work security. And a buddy of mine was a tight end at the University of Minnesota. He called me and asked me if I wanted to work, and I said sure. So they told us to wear blue jeans and tight white T-shirts. So I show up. We all stand in front of the stage. And I think I'm in great shape, and I'm 210, I'm ripped, and guy beside me is about 245. Guy beside me is about 265. And the manager points at me, goes, you're too small, stage door. So I was backstage for the whole concert. I got to meet them all. I talked to Charlie Watt for about a half an hour.
Oh, nice.
It was very cool.
So you won.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you won
that lottery.
Yeah.
Well done.
Right, so Rolling Stones and Springsteen, Sixero does not know of which he speaks.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the Rolling Stones, I love. I love the Rolling Stones. Don't get me wrong. Springsteen.
Connor McDavid. If you heard what Connor McDavid said right there, and you're a member of the Edmonton Oilers brass, are you worried at all?
No, I would have rather, as Sid said, I hate to agree with Sid because I so seldom do. But as he said, what you'd like is everything's wonderful and everything's fine. And but I think if you're Edmonton, if he's going to be a week late in he's in camp, working out, rehabbing his knee, if he's a week late or 2 weeks late, that's no cause for concern in my view. So no, I wouldn't take too much out of that as a negative.
In terms of having a new head coach in Dave Tippett and trying to get a new philosophy in, I think some Oilers fans are looking at the comments from today and saying any time missed is a problem, whether it's just a week or not. Do you agree with that philosophy?
No, what Dave Tippett's going to have to do there is he's a defensively oriented coach. He's going to have to change the mindset on their coverages, on their getting back, on the number of outnumbered attacks they give up, their penalty kill. So they allowed too many goals. I don't think those are critical areas for Connor McDavid, and a lot of that's classroom stuff anyway, so no, I don't think it's a problem.
Are you a guy, when it comes to McDavid's health, who worries about the speed at which he plays?
Yes, I don't think he can. Like, I will tell you, I love watching them play. There's some guys who are worth the price of the ticket. One player, they dress 40 players, but one player is worth the price of the ticket. And Connor McDavid's always worth the price of the ticket. I hated playing against him in Calgary. I hated when my players had to play against me. He scared the hell out of me. That's the best part of leaving Calgary, is that I don't have to watch Connor McDavid on the ice against my team. He's a great player. He seems like a wonderful young man, and I wouldn't be worried about much of this.
You see a lot of shots at GMs and presidents and VPs during the postseason, because Sportsnet loves to show that stuff, of reacting to anything that goes on the ice.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in Calgary and with other teams, you would get frustrated at what you're seeing. But in Calgary, when you saw Connor and he did something to Mark or a defenseman, do you just look and go, like, what are you supposed to do in that situation?
You hold your breath. You'd hold your breath. When Connor McDavid's on the ice and he gets the puck, you hold your breath. Like, that's how good he is. And I remember watching one game where our best defenseman was Mark Giordano, and Connor picked up the puck at the top of the faceoff circle. Gio's on the blue line. By the time Gio got to the red line, Connor was past him. So from then on, you'd see even TJ Brody, who was their best skating defenseman. The minute Connor gets the puck, they're giving up the blue line. They're turning and skating forward. They're skating the same direction as Connor McDavid just to keep their gap. And then they're turning at the blue line and trying to contain him. Like, there aren't many guys who can force defensemen to turn and skate the same direction they're skating with the puck, and then keep the gap, and then turn and go backwards at the blue line. But that's what they had. Our best defenseman had to do that.
But you're not worried about his speed making him more susceptible to injury, are you?
Yeah, no, I am a little bit if I'm Kenny Holland or if I'm Dave Tippett. Yes, that's always a fear, but he's got to play that way. That's what makes him effective. And I sense the first year he got drilled playing against us, or the game that where he got hurt and broke his collarbone, not against us. I think he picked up from that and said, okay, that speed 10 feet from the boards is not safe. I gotta be aware and take some limits. He's got to use that speed to play, but I think internally he's picked up some sonar where the boards are, where the danger areas are, and you watch him mature as a hockey player. I think he's much more aware now.
Andrew McDonald, Philly? That was the collarbone game?
Philly.
Yeah.
Brandon Manning. Forgive me. Sorry, Andrew McDonald. We're up to watch. Do you ever have a player in your career along these lines who played a certain way? Obviously not with the speed of a McDavid like Timmy's talking about.
No, I've had a player as fast as Connor McDavid, Pavel Bure.
Pavel Bure, okay, there you go. But whether it's speed or grit or whatever, did you
who the hell could you be talking about? Okay, Pavel Bure.
One of the greatest snipers of his
And let me interrupt you. And the one thing, what Connor can do is, there are probably players who can skate as fast as Connor McDavid, but he can do everything at full speed. The average player has to break speed, reduce speed a little bit to make plays. He's got to go to 90% or 85% or even 80% to really see the ice and make plays. Connor can do everything at top speed, so could Pavel.
Great example, forgive me. How did I forget about Pavel Bure?
I just like that he said, pardon me while I interrupt, because I wish I could hear that.
If you want to take that line, Tim, go ahead. Did you ever have a player, whether it's from a speed standpoint or a grit standpoint, they only had the one gear, whether it was game 1 or 82, and you had to at some point go, listen, once in a while, bring it down a little bit because I'm getting a little worried. Did you ever have a guy like that?
Yeah, Pavel. And then from a grit standpoint, Pat Verbeek, who was my captain in Hartford. Pat Verbeek could only play one way. And it didn't matter if it was 9-1. He's still going to try and hit everyone on the other team. Doesn't matter if it's the first. It doesn't matter who the player is. It doesn't matter if it's going to start a problem on our team. We're going to have to answer the bell. It didn't matter. Pat Verbeek was just, I'm playing that way whether you like it or not.
Brian Burke out of Africa, I don't know if you know this, but he went to Africa after catching mammoth fish in Langara. Out in Langara with Jeff Sanderson. Caught a 77.
I didn't. Sandy did.
Yeah.
Jeff Sanderson
you were
caught a
there
77.
when...
I was in the boat. He caught a 77-pound Chinook salmon.
Hold on a second.
We already did it.
I wasn't here for the Chinook salmon story.
Yeah, you didn't work this summer, that's why.
He did more work than you did this summer. And he went to Africa and
Okay, well, then, look, can I get in on the questioning? Because you've heard this story. I haven't heard the Chinook salmon story.
Go ahead. I mean, there's other questions that I want to get in
We'll
here.
get Mitch Marner in a second.
All right.
Would you invite me fishing at any point over the next couple of years? And am I allowed to just buy a fish in town and bring it?
I would invite you fishing if 75 or 80 other people said no.
It's not bad.
So you're telling me there's a
Just
chance?
telling you there's a chance.
All right, I'll take yes. There's a chance, ladies and gentlemen. Connor McDavid. Also, you heard talk about.
No, it's my
Oh, go
question.
ahead,
You
go
stole
ahead.
a question.
Go
Get
ahead.
out of
I'm
here.
sorry, I'm talking about fish.
Are we going to set the market with Mitch Marner no matter what, or does someone need to jump the queue here and get someone signed because they might not even like the way Marner?
Well, I've been talking to a few GMs, and a couple guys think they've made some progress with their RFAs. So it's not going to hold up all of the signings. I think a couple teams will get guys signed. I thought the Timo Meier contract would establish things, $6 million AAV.
Yeah.
But it's a really peculiar contract because the final year of that contract is $10 million a year. That's the base salary. So that is not going to entice a lot of teams. That structure won't work for a lot of teams.
That becomes a
But-
qualifying offer.
Yes, that's your QO is now $10 million. So you got to bet that you're going to win it in the next 3 years, and San Jose's got a good chance of that. So your window's 3 years, and then you don't care. Or you're going to say at that point the cap might have gone up enough that Timo Meier is $10 million is reasonable.
player.
Yeah. But I think a couple teams will be able to. But I think there's going to be a bunch of guys that wait to see what happens here in Toronto. I think Connor's right about that. That once he signs, then a bunch of. But it's like the ice going out of a lake, right? Once one big piece goes out, then they all start to move.